The alarm rang at 4 a.m. It was not loud, but it was enough. The room was dark. The air was cold. The city outside was still sleeping, like it did not care what kind of person he wanted to become. He opened his eyes and stared at the ceiling. This was the first test of the day. His body asked for sleep. His mind asked for comfort. But discipline asked for something else. It asked for obedience. He sat up slowly. His feet touched the cold floor. He did not rush. He did not complain. He believed one thing very strongly: the way you start your day decides who controls your life. Many people think discipline is about motivation. He knew that was a lie. Motivation comes and goes. Discipline stays, even when you hate it. He walked to the bathroom and looked at himself in the mirror. His face looked tired. His eyes were serious. He nodded once, like making a silent promise. "No excuses," he whispered. The shower water was ice cold. It shocked his body. His breath became heavy. Every cell in his body wanted to run away. But he stayed. This was not about being strong. This was about learning how to stay when everything inside you says leave. After the shower, he wore simple clothes. No style, no fashion, just clean and ready. He opened a small notebook and wrote one line: "Do the hard thing first." That notebook was more important than his phone. Outside, the streets were empty. Streetlights looked lonely. A dog barked far away. He started running, slow at first, then faster. His legs hurt. His lungs burned. His mind began to speak. "Why are you doing this? No one is watching. You can stop today." He had heard these voices many times before. He never argued with them. He just kept running. That was his secret. He did not fight the pain. He did not fight fear. He moved forward with them. At the park, he stopped and did push-ups on the cold ground. His arms shook. Sweat mixed with dust. He counted every rep, not because numbers mattered, but because counting gave his mind no space to escape. When the sun finally started to rise, he sat on a bench and drank water. His hands were shaking. His heart was loud. This was the moment most people never see. The quiet after pain. Discipline lives here, not on social media, not in loud speeches, but in silent moments when quitting feels easy. He stood up and walked home. After breakfast, he worked. Deep work. No phone. No music. No talking. Just focus. Hours passed like minutes. At one point, his phone vibrated. A message. He looked at it and felt his stomach drop. It was an opportunity. A big one. The kind people dream about. The kind that scares you more than failure. If he said yes, his life would change. If he said no, he would stay safe. Fear entered his chest. What if you fail? What if people laugh? What if you are not enough? He closed his eyes. 10 years ago, he was not this person. 10 years ago, he was weak in small ways. He slept late. He quit early. He blamed others. He waited for perfect moments that never came. One day, he looked at his life and felt afraid. Not afraid of pain. Afraid of becoming nothing. That day, he chose discipline. Not soft discipline. Not easy discipline. Scary discipline. The kind that takes your comfort away. The kind that forces you to grow. He picked up the phone and typed one word. Yes. The fear did not leave, but his decision was made. Later that day, he prepared. He practiced what he would say. He practiced how he would stand. He practiced how he would breathe. He failed many times in practice. His voice shook. His thoughts got messy. Good. Failure in private saves you in public. As evening came, his body felt tired. His mind felt heavy. This was the most dangerous time. This is when discipline is tested the most. He wanted rest. He wanted reward. Instead, he reviewed his day. What did I do right? What did I do wrong? What will I fix tomorrow? He wrote everything down. Before sleeping, he stood near the window and looked at the dark sky. The city lights blinked like distant stars. People around him were relaxing, watching shows, scrolling phones, forgetting their dreams. He did not judge them. He just chose a different path. Because discipline is lonely, very lonely, but it leads somewhere. As he lay down on his bed, his muscles hurt. His eyes closed slowly. Fear was still there. Doubt was still there. But something else was there too. Control. Not control over the world. Control over himself. And that is the scariest kind of discipline people ever see. Because a man who controls himself cannot be controlled by fear. The alarm was already set for 4 a.m. Tomorrow, the test would begin again. And he would answer it. The next morning, the alarm rang again at 4 a.m. This time, his hand did not move. His eyes were open, but his body felt heavy. Yesterday's work had left pain in his legs and fire in his shoulders. The bed felt warmer than usual. Softer. Kinder. This was not sleepiness. This was resistance. Discipline becomes scary when the body remembers pain. A voice whispered inside him, slow and sweet. You did enough yesterday. Take a break. One day will not matter. He stayed still for 5 seconds. 5 seconds too long. Then he sat up fast, like he was escaping something dangerous. His heart was beating hard. He knew this moment well. If he stayed in bed even 1 minute more, the day would be lost. He stood up. The floor was cold again. Nothing had changed. The world did not care how he felt. That was a truth discipline teaches early. Your feelings are not special. In the bathroom mirror, his eyes looked darker than before. There were lines of tiredness on his face. He did not smile. Discipline does not smile back. The cold shower felt worse today. The water hit his skin like punishment. His breath became sharp and fast. His hands wanted to turn the knob. He did not. He closed his eyes and counted to 30. Pain is a teacher, he told himself. Run away, and it follows you. Stay, and it leaves. When he stepped out, his body felt awake, but his mind felt tired. He dressed and opened his notebook. Yesterday's page was full. Wins and losses. Today's page was empty. That scared him more. Outside, the streets were still quiet, but his steps were slower. His legs felt weak during the run. Every step hurt more than yesterday. Halfway through the run, he stopped. His hands rested on his knees. His breathing was loud. Sweat ran down his face. This was new. He had never stopped before. People think discipline means never stopping. That is wrong. Discipline means knowing why you stop and when you start again. He stood there, shaking. What if this is my limit? What if I cannot go further? Fear does not always scream. Sometimes it speaks calmly. He looked at the empty road ahead. No one was watching. No one would know if he turned back. This is where most people turn back. Not because they are weak, but because they are alone. He remembered something his old mentor once said. When no one is watching, your real self wakes up. He started running again. Slower, shorter steps. Pain with every move. But he moved. Back home, he felt drained. Even eating felt like work. He sat at his desk and stared at his screen. The words did not come. Focus was gone. Hours passed, and very little was done. This scared him. Discipline was supposed to make him strong. Why did he feel weaker? In the afternoon, he received another message. Bad news. The opportunity he said yes to came with a condition. A hard one. A deadline that felt impossible. Expectations that felt heavy. His chest tightened. For the first time in years, he thought about quitting. Not loudly, not dramatically, just a quiet thought. Is this worth it? He closed his eyes. This question is dangerous. It opens a door. Once opened, it never fully closes. He left his room and walked outside without a plan. The sun was high now. The city was alive. People were laughing, eating, resting, living easy lives. He sat on a bench and watched them. A man with his children, a couple holding hands, friends sharing food. For a moment, discipline felt stupid. What is the point? He thought, if life passes like this. This was the deepest test so far. Not pain, not fear, but doubt. Discipline can survive pain. It struggles against doubt. He took a deep breath and remembered his past. He remembered nights wasted. He remembered promises broken. He remembered the shame of knowing he could do more but chose comfort instead. That life looked easy from far away. Up close, it was empty. He stood up, went back home. That night, he did something different. He allowed himself to feel tired. He did not push more work. He did not punish himself. Instead, he reviewed his rules. Some rules were too strict. Some were hurting more than helping. Scary discipline is not blind. It adapts. He changed one rule. Sleep was no longer optional. He learned something important that night. Discipline is not about destroying yourself. It is about building something that lasts. The next day, he woke up again at 4 a.m., still tired, still scared, but smarter. The run was shorter. The work was cleaner. The focus returned slowly. Pain did not disappear. Doubt did not disappear. But control came back. Days passed. His discipline became heavier, not lighter. Why? Because now the world was watching. People started expecting results. Messages increased. Pressure grew. With pressure came mistakes. One small mistake became talk. Talk became judgment. He felt eyes on him. This was new fear. Private discipline is hard. Public discipline is terrifying. Every move felt watched. Every weakness felt dangerous. One evening, after a long day, he sat alone in his room. His notebook was open. The page was full of losses. Too many. He stared at them. For the first time, his hands shook. What if I fail publicly? What if all this discipline leads nowhere? Tears came close. He did not cry, not because crying was weak, but because he needed clarity. He wrote one sentence in the notebook. Discipline will not save me. My choices will. That night, he slept deeply. Tomorrow would bring something worse. A moment that would test everything he had built. A foe he did not expect. And discipline would face its hardest enemy yet. Failure. The day of the test arrived quietly. No warning. No drama. The sky was clear. The city moved like always. People smiled. Cars passed. Life did not stop just because his life was about to shake. He woke up before the alarm. His heart was already awake. Fear sat in his chest like a heavy stone. Not loud, not wild, just present. He followed his routine. Cold water, notebook, simple breakfast, slow breathing. Discipline gave him structure, but it could not remove fear. On the way to the place where everything would happen, his hands felt cold. He kept opening and closing his fingers. He reminded himself to breathe. This is what you train for, he thought. But training and reality are different rooms. When he entered the building, the air felt tight. The walls were white and clean. Too clean. People moved fast, holding papers and phones. No one looked at him, but he felt seen. His name was called. He stood up. Every step felt loud. Inside the room, faces waited. Serious faces. Important faces. The kind that decide futures. He greeted them. His voice sounded normal. That surprised him. The first few minutes went well. He spoke clearly. His hands were steady. His mind followed the plan. Then it happened. A simple question, one he had practiced, but his mind went blank. Not empty, heavy. The room felt smaller. His mouth became dry. The silence stretched. Seconds felt like hours. Someone leaned forward. Another checked notes. The pressure grew. His heart raced. This was the moment. The one discipline could not fully prepare him for. Public failure. He tried to answer. The words came out wrong. Not terrible, but not strong. He felt it. They felt it. The energy changed. He recovered a little, but the damage was done. The flow was broken. Confidence cracked. The rest passed like a blur. When it ended, he nodded, thanked them, and left the room. The door closed behind him, and everything fell. His legs felt weak. He sat down hard on a chair in the hallway. His hands trembled. His chest felt tight. He had failed. Not fully, not completely, but enough. People passed by. Some glanced at him. Some whispered. No one said anything. Silence was worse. He walked outside into the sunlight. It felt too bright, too normal. His phone buzzed. Messages. Some supportive. Some quiet. Some sharp. One message hurt the most. I expected more. He stopped walking. That sentence stayed. He went home early. He did not run. He did not work. He did not open his notebook. For the first time in years, he lay on his bed during the day and stared at the ceiling. This is where discipline breaks for many. When effort does not protect you, when hard work does not guarantee success, the old thoughts returned. You are not special. Others are better. All this pain was useless. That night, he did not sleep well. His body rested, but his mind fought. Scenes replayed, words repeated, faces judged. In the morning, the alarm rang. He did not turn it off. He did not get up. 5 minutes passed. Then 10. The sun rose. He stayed in bed. This scared him more than failure. Discipline was slipping. Later that day, he opened social media. That was a mistake. People were talking. Some opinions were kind. Some were cruel. A short clip from the test had been shared. Not the good part, the weak part. He watched it once. Then again. Then closed the app. His hands were cold. For the first time, he thought, maybe I am not built for this. This thought was heavy, dangerous. He avoided people. He ignored messages. He ate little. He stopped running. 3 days passed. 3 days without discipline. The body softened. The mind darkened. On the 4th day, he sat at his desk and opened the notebook. Dust had settled on it. He turned the pages slowly. Old days, old wins, old losses. He remembered why he started. Not to be famous, not to be praised, but to respect himself. He wrote one sentence. Failure is information, not identity. He sat there for a long time. Then he stood up. He took a shower. Not cold, warm. He ate a proper meal. Small steps. That evening, he went for a walk. Not a run, just a walk. The sky was orange. The city was loud. He felt small again. But small is not weak. Small means there is room to grow. That night, he slept deeply. The next morning, the alarm rang at 4 a.m. This time, he got up, not fast, not strong, but honest. He did not chase punishment. He did not chase pain. He chased consistency. Discipline after failure feels different, quieter, wiser, more dangerous, because now it knows the cost. As he stepped outside, the cold air hit his face. He breathed deeply. People still doubted him. The world had moved on, but he was back. And this time, he was not afraid of falling again. Because the scariest discipline is not never failing. It is standing up when everyone thinks you are done. And this fall was only the beginning. After the fall, nothing felt heroic. There was no loud comeback, no big announcement, no dramatic speech. There was only silence. He woke up at 4 a.m., but now he did not rush. He sat on the bed for a moment and checked his breathing. His heart was calm. Fear was still there, but it was softer. Failure had changed him. Before, discipline was sharp, hard, almost angry. Now, it was careful. He learned something important. If discipline breaks you, it was built wrong. He started again from the basics. Very basic. Wake up, make the bed, drink water. No cold shower that day. No running. No pain. Just control. People think strong discipline means doing extreme things every day. He learned real discipline means doing the right thing, even when it feels too small to matter. He opened his notebook and wrote a new title, Rules That Protect Me. The first rule was simple. Sleep is not weakness. The second rule, progress is better than punishment. The third rule, one hard thing per day is enough. These rules felt lighter, but stronger. In the morning, instead of running fast, he walked. He felt his steps. He listened to his breath. He noticed the world again. Birds, wind, traffic. Before, he was always fighting time. Now, he was working with it. Work also changed. He stopped forcing long hours. He worked in short blocks. Deep focus. Then rest. Then focus again. Strangely, he achieved more. His mind was clearer. His mistakes reduced. His confidence slowly returned. But something else had changed. He no longer wanted to prove himself. That was new. Before the fall, discipline was his armor. After the fall, discipline became his teacher. People still remembered his failure. Some looked at him differently. Some had already forgotten. He accepted both. One evening, a message arrived. Another chance. Not the same door. A smaller one. The old version of him would have ignored it, waiting for something big. This version read it carefully. It was not perfect, but it was honest. He replied yes. This time, preparation looked different. He practiced, but not until exhaustion. He rested, without guilt. He trained his mind to stay calm under pressure. He practiced silence. Silence between thoughts. Silence before answering. Silence when fear appeared. He learned that silence is power. Days passed. His routine became boring. That was good. Boring discipline lasts longer. No one clapped. No one noticed. And that was the point. Late one night, he met an old friend. They talked about life, about stress, about expectations. The friend said something simple. "You seem lighter." He smiled. Not proud, not defensive, just calm. The next test arrived quietly again. But this time, he did not feel heavy fear. He felt alert. He knew something could go wrong. He knew he could fail again. And that was okay. That acceptance gave him strength. During the test, his hands stayed relaxed. His voice stayed steady. When a difficult question came, he paused. He did not rush. He did not panic. He answered slowly. Not perfect, but real. When it ended, he walked out without shaking, without relief, without fear. He did not check messages. He did not search for reactions. He went home and cooked a simple meal. That night, he wrote in his notebook, "I showed up as myself." The result came days later. It was not a victory. It was not a loss. It was progress. Enough. That night, he sat near the window and watched the city lights. He remembered who he was before discipline. He remembered who he became because of it. And he understood something clearly for the first time. Discipline is not about becoming hard. It is about becoming reliable. Reliable to your goals. Reliable to your values. Reliable to yourself. Pain can build discipline. Fear can shape it. But only honesty can sustain it. He set the alarm for 4 a.m. Not because he had to, because he chose to. Tomorrow, the journey would continue. Not louder, not faster, but stronger. And the world would never know how much work it took. That is the scariest kind of discipline. The morning felt normal. That was the first sign of change. No heavy fear. No loud thoughts. No fight inside his chest. He woke up before the alarm and lay still for a moment. The room was quiet. The city outside was waking slowly. He breathed in and out, steady and calm. Once, mornings felt like battles. Now, they felt like agreements. He stood up, made his bed, and drank water. Small actions, simple actions, but they carried weight. Discipline had stopped feeling like punishment. It felt like trust. He opened his notebook. The pages were full now. Not just wins, not just losses. Lessons. He read one line from a few weeks ago. "I am not behind. I am building." That sentence stayed with him. The final test came later that day. Not announced, not dramatic, just another opportunity to show who he had become. He dressed simply and left the house. On the way, he noticed things he used to ignore. The sound of traffic, the smell of tea from a small shop, people rushing without looking up. He smiled lightly. He had been one of them before. At the place of the test, the room felt familiar. Same walls, same chairs, same pressure. But he was different. When his turn came, he stood up without forcing courage. His body knew what to do. His breath stayed slow. He spoke, not to impress, not to defend. He spoke to communicate. A difficult moment came. A pause. A question with no easy answer. Before, this was where fear attacked. Now, he welcomed the pause. Silence did not scare him anymore. He answered honestly. Not perfectly. Not safely. Honestly. When it ended, he thanked them and left. Outside, the sun was warm. He stood still for a moment and felt it on his face. Whatever the result, he knew something important. He had kept his promise. The result came days later. It was good. Not perfect. Not life-changing, but real. A door opened. Not wide. Not forever. Just enough. Some people congratulated him. Others stayed quiet. A few still doubted. He did not care. Approval was no longer his fuel. That evening, he walked through the city as lights turned on one by one. He thought about his journey. The early mornings. The pain. The fall. The silence. The rebuilding. He understood the truth most people never learn. Discipline is scary because it shows you who you really are. It removes excuses. It removes stories. It leaves only choice. Most people avoid discipline because it is honest. It shows your limits, your fear, your weakness. But it also shows your strength. Back home, he cooked dinner slowly. He ate without distraction. He cleaned the dishes. Ordinary life. Extraordinary control. Before sleep, he stood near the window again. The same window from the first part of the story. The city looked the same. He was not. He was calmer, clearer, stronger inside. He wrote one final sentence in his notebook. Discipline did not change my life. It changed my standards. He closed the notebook and placed it on the table. The alarm was set for 4 a.m., not as a threat, as a reminder. Tomorrow would not be easier. Life would still test him. But he no longer feared tests. Because the scariest level of discipline is not waking up early, not cold showers, not pain. It is choosing yourself every day, when no one is watching, when failure is possible, when comfort is close. That is where real power lies. And very few people ever go there. The end